What is up, ladies and boys and girls, and welcome back to another video at Axe Entertainment. I'm your host, Zack Axe, bringing another edition of WWE's Weekly Awards. This one is from 9/8 to 9/12. Getting used to talking on YouTube again. I've been talking on TikTok so much. Speaking of TikTok, if you're a fan of me on YouTube, you'll probably be a fan of mine on TikTok. Go over to TikTok at Axe Entertainment. Link is in the description. Right now we are ranking wrestlers based off of 5 different categories. If you want to have your favorite wrestler featured and haven't already done them, go ahead and leave them in any of my comments on any of them. Any of the videos I've already done, of course. And I will get to your favorite wrestler and you'll get a shout out in my TikTok videos. So if you're a fan of me on here, go ahead and check out my TikTok. I much appreciate it. Now this week overall in wrestling, it's really been flip-flopping. So like 2 weeks ago, wrestling was really boring. We had an overall boring week. Then the next week we had a very good week on all 3 shows. Well, this week we had a very entertaining NXT while we had a very lackluster Smackdown and Raw. So let's get right into the weekly awards. The first award I'm going to give out is Match of the Week. I feel like I never start with Match of the Week, so we're going to start with Match of the Week. Honorable mentions for Match of the Week I'm going to give to Josh Briggs versus Javon Evans on NXT, and Hank and Tank versus Dark State on NXT also. And even while we're talking about NXT, the Triple Threat Women's Tag Team match on NXT, all getting honorable mentions. Those matches were all great on NXT, but I think SmackDown did have the best match of the week when they had Sami Zayn's US Open Challenge, and it was answered by Rey Fenix. Now, this wasn't a traditional Open Challenge. Like, usually how we want an Open Challenge to happen is we want, the guy to come out to the ring, say, time is now, or, say whatever, come on out, and then you get the surprise entrance of whoever it is. Well, we kind of got it spoiled for us that it was Rey Fenix backstage right before the match. That kind of sucked, but that didn't take anything away from this excellent match. This match got to show off just how good Rey Fenix is, if you don't already know, and also got to show you how good Sami still is if you managed to forget somehow, because he is still amazing in the ring. These two are both absolutely great wrestlers, and they just got to show it. And face versus face doesn't usually work, but it works for open challenges because there's no storyline needed. It's just a match. And this was just a match, like I said, no storyline, nothing, just an amazing match between the two. Sami Zayn picked up a win over Rey Fenix, which obviously this is the first open challenge. I didn't technically second, and I just couldn't see Sami Zayn losing the title here, but this just goes to show you that Rey Fenix needs to be a singles champion or some kind of champion sometime down the line, because he is so damn good, and Sami Zayn just keeps proving that he's also good. So these two just put an absolute barn burner on SmackDown. It was pretty much the really only good thing that happened on SmackDown this week. We're going to go into a very quick one with promo of the week. There was really no good promos at all through all 3 shows. Honorable mentions go to Becky Lynch and AJ Lee for their promo on Monday Night Raw. I think AJ was a little bit rusty, you could honestly tell, and then Becky, she didn't carry as much as I thought she would, but they had a pretty decent promo. And then we're gonna give another shout out to the combination of Mello, Trick, and DIY on NXT. We'll talk more about that later, but we're gonna shout out to them because they had a pretty decent promo on NXT. But I'm gonna give promo of the week to the Usos, more or less Jimmy, I guess, but I'm gonna give it to both of them for their promo on Raw against the Vision. And the Vision, I couldn't even give this award as a promo battle because it wasn't a good promo battle. Braun Breaker is honestly, I thought he was decent on the mic, but ever since he got called up, he's just been terrible on the microphone, and he just had a terrible input. Bronson Reed tried his best to carry that group, but even he isn't the best on the mic, so their part kind of fell flat. But when the Usos talk, man, you listen. They're so good on the microphone. Jimmy more than Jay, of course, and Jimmy carried the promo, and Jimmy sounded very good. Jay chimed in when he needed to, and like I said, their promo wasn't amazing, but it was the best one of the week, so I kind of had to give them this award. So Usos are winning the award. First topic I want to go into, we only have 2 today, is going to be the returns on NXT. So let's go through some of these. First of all, we had Tyler Breeze coming back. This is one that shocked the hell out of me. I don't know how the crowd didn't react at all. I absolutely love Tyler Breeze. I don't know what it is about him, but he's I guess I do, because he's so good in the ring. His gimmick is fun. He's just so fun, and he's back wrestling. I knew that he worked backstage, and he's always been there. He's constantly in the wrestling games, and he's constantly, he's just there on the what's that called, the Up Down Down channel. He's always there, in some way or another. But so he still worked there. I just thought he was transitioning to a full-time backstage, and maybe he is. Maybe this is a one-off. But next week he's wrestling against Ethan Page for the North American Championship, and this is crazy. Ethan Page's run has been really fun. I mean, I don't know why Tyler Breeze is getting a shot before Tavion Heights, but that's for another time. But he came out to Ethan Page after the match, and he's getting a title match. And if he wins it, I wouldn't be mad at all. But I think this might just be a one-off. If it's not, and Tyler's coming back to full-time in-ring wrestling, I'm going to be just as excited because I love Tyler Breeze. But back to Ethan Page, it's been kind of a weird run for him. You know, like Santino Marella has been one of his challengers. He's had this thing with Tavion Heights. Chelsea Green's been on his team, and now we're getting Tyler Breeze. It's been kind of a weird run for Ethan Page ever since he beat Ricky Sainz, but I like it and I'm here for it. Of course, we had DIY come back again. We saw them last week. They came out again this week to confront Trick Williams. Well, they came out to talk, and Trick Williams came out to confront them, and he was joined in the ring by another return in Carmelo Hayes, of course, who now will be wrestling next week on NXT. Carmelo and Trick versus DIY in a battle of the generations of NXT, and that's super exciting. I'm really excited for that next week. But just this promo wasn't terrible, but it was kind of weird how Melo came out and started attacking Trick, which I get because Trick's been attacking Melo ever since Melo left. And then one thing from DIY, and immediately these two were back on the same page, and we're going into a tag team match, which I'm completely okay with because it's, like I said, this is two generations of NXT, two of the best tag teams from their generations, and they're going to get a wrestle next week, so I'm super excited about that. And then finally, we had 3 in the main event after Fatal Influence and JC Jane got on the microphone, started talking. We had 3 women's wrestlers come out, of course, starting with Stephanie Valkyria, the woman that JC Jane actually took the title from. She came out to confront JC. Then we had Tiffany. Then we had Rhea freaking Ripley on NXT. And it's been announced that next week there's going to be a 3-on-3 between Tiffany, Rhea, and Stephanie taking on Fatal Influence. That's going to be a crazy match. Because Fatal Influence, I can't even talk anymore. Fatal Influence is so good. There's just 3 amazing wrestlers in the ring, and they're going to go up against 3 of the best that the main roster has. What's kind of weird though is I did hear that there's a chance that Lyra Valkyria takes the spot from Tiffany because Tiffany's either shoot injured or real injured from the Nia Jax thing on Smackdown. I guess we'll have to wait and see. Either way, if it's Tiffany, if it's Lyra, it's going to be an amazing 3-on-3 on NXT next week, and I'm really excited for next week's NXT. Next award we're going to give out is Male MVP. Now, honorable mentions for Male MVP. Now, honorable mentions for Male MVP, I'm going to give to Rusev for picking up a big win over Penta. He almost won this award. Josh Briggs for a big win over Javon Evans, and Sami Zayn for his aforementioned win over Rey Fenix. What is happening to me right now? But I am going to give this award to Tavion Heights. Now, I went back and forth on who I was going to give this award to, but at the end of the day, Tavion Heights knocked off a champion. Even though it was a non-champion match and he didn't pin him, he won a flag match. Tavion Heights still won. I think it's weird, like I said, that Tyler Breeze is getting the opportunity next and not Tavion, even though Tavion just beat the champion, if you think about it. But Tavion Heights had a very good match. Like, flag matches are always kind of boring. Like, there's like certain stipulations that are hard to make entertaining, and flag match is one of them, but they made it entertaining. Hell, Ethan Page almost died. I don't know if anybody else seen this. I mean, you guys better have seen this. But at one point, Tavion Heights speared Ethan Page through the ropes, and Ethan Page landed straight on his neck. Like, they kind of failed to get flush out, so then Ethan Page got hung up for a second, and then he just went right down on his neck, and it looked painful as hell. But they both had a very good match. We ended, of course, like I said, with Tavion Heights picking up a win over a champion, which is why he's going to get this award. And then that's when Tyler Breeze came out and all that good stuff that we talked about. So, yeah, Tavion Heights is winning Male MVP. All right, next thing is the speed round, so let's get right into the speed round. Raquel Rodriguez beat Lyra Valkyria on Monday Night Raw. I don't understand why. Lyra Valkyria is fresh coming off of one of the best feuds in WWE of the past like 5 years, and now she's losing to Raquel Rodriguez, who's like permanently stuck in a tag team. So I really don't get that one. I just not the biggest fan of Raquel, so I don't think she should really be beating Lyra, who, like I said, is coming off of a huge storyline. It kind of seems like we're slowing down Lyra's momentum. But like I said, Rusev picked up a huge win over Penta. That was a pretty decent match. I'm really excited to see Rusev get a push going forward. I think he definitely should be a main event player this run. Maybe not this early. Maybe just go for an IC title right now with Dominic Mysterio holding that title. He also won the Mega Championship too. So I guess shout out to Dirty Dom for winning that. I'm not going to comment any further on that, but Dominic Mysterio is a double champion, and Rusev picked up a big one over Penta with a crazy Machka kick at the end, by the way. That Machka kick was insane, and shout out to Rusev. I'm really sick of this I got your back thing. Every single week on either Raw or SmackDown, or even both, we have a segment where 2 guys are backstage, and somebody walks up to him and goes, hey, if you need it out there, I got your back. We see it with the Usos, with LA Knight, with CM Punk, with the War Raiders and Penta. with like every single person that's kind of somewhat affiliated with the team is backstage saying, hey, if you need it, I'll be out there for you. And it's just a little annoying that happens every single week. Like, just make them come out, bro. We know they're going to come out anyways. It's just pointless to me, and I'm getting a little annoyed by it. Dark State versus Hank and Tank happened, and Hank and Tank is, like I said last week, getting more representation now that they lost the titles than they were when they had the titles. So Dark State and Hank and Tank put on another very good match. They had a very good match, of course, at the pay-per-view, and now they had a rematch tonight, or Wednesday, and Tuesday. God, I'm still stuck on NXT being on Wednesday. And it was a very, very good match. Not match of the week, but it was very close to winning it. And of course, Hank and Tank picked up the loss. Why am I jumbling everything together? Of course, Dark State picked up the win after a little bit of help from Joe Henry coming out to help Dark State, but then he kind of got in the way and actually caused Hank and Tank to lose. So I'm kind of excited to see where we go from here. I don't know if this is going to lead into anything, but yeah, Dark State looks good still. Hank and Tank looks good too. Brock Lesnar and R-Truth had a segment. And I think this is funny because when this happened and I heard R-Truth music, my brain immediately went to back in 2020 before the Rumble when they sent R-Truth out try to make Brock Lesnar laugh. I think they did it again. I think they just wanted to make Brock Lesnar break, and Brock Lesnar broke, but R-Truth wasn't saying anything really funny. Like, this was nothing like 2020. 2020, R-Truth was hilarious and he was making Brock laugh left and right, but this one, there was really no funny moments too much. Like Brock got to talk too. Like, Brock doesn't have anybody to back him up, so he had to talk. And when he talked, he just kept saying the same thing over and over again. Why are you out here? Truth would answer him. He'd say, why are you out here? Truth would answer him, and just kept going back and forth. And R-Truth, like I said, wasn't saying anything necessarily funny. The funniest part of the segment was when Brock ripped his pants. Cody Rhodes returned on Smackdown to stop Drew McIntyre from Claymore and Randy. Drew versus Randy was actually very boring. Like, this was a match, like a feud, when it was first set up, like, what, 3, 4, 5 weeks ago. I said on Weekly Awards, I'm excited to see these matches. We got one match that was kind of lackluster on Saturday Night's Main Event, and this one was even worse than that one. And then, of course, they had their SummerSlam thing, which I wasn't the biggest fan of either. So these two I thought was going to have a really good feud, but I just don't think they work too well together. Especially with, like, I don't know, there's just something about these two that just doesn't work right now. But then Cody came out to save Randy and beat down Drew, so we're getting our Drew versus Cody, and I'm really excited for that. I don't look to Drew to win that match, but I think it's going to be a very exciting match. And our last thing is I just want to talk about the women's titles that happened on SmackDown. This kind of made me mad. SmackDown does not know how to book women's titles to save their freaking life. Like Raw, not right now with the women's title because, of course, it's vacant. But with the women's title before, they were booking it pretty good. And with the IC title, has the best women's title booking out of any title in WWE. So Raw's over here booking women's titles. Great. SmackDown, on the other hand, sets up a match for B-Fab and Julia. And then they just beat down B-Fab before the match. We don't even get the match. And then Michin comes out to save her, which, cool, I like Michin being, involved in the championship. But this is just a weird thing. Like, I didn't want to see B-Fab wrestle. I'm not going to lie. But I didn't want to see this, like, just come down to beat up somebody, and then that was the end. So we got teased a match, and the match never happened. Well, then we got another women's title match between Jade and Tiffany, and I think this is just their excuse to not pull the trigger on Jade, and I don't know why. Because when this match got announced, I said this is for sure where Jade is winning the championship. I thought it was at SummerSlam. We didn't give it to her then. Tiffany hasn't had a terrible run, but it's been a very forgettable run. Half the time I forget she's even the champion, right? Because they're not doing anything with her. So it really makes me mad when they finally have a match, and I'm like, this should be an easy Jade win or a match that's going to make me remember that Tiffany's the champion. And then it ends in a freaking double count out, and then Nia Jax comes out to beat him up. I'm so sick of Nia Jax and Tiffany Stratton. I don't want to see it for a fifth time. It was good the last time, don't get me wrong, when it was in Saudi, but I do not want to see it again. And maybe it's a triple threat, maybe it won't be that bad, but I'm just so sick of them not knowing how to book women's titles on SmackDown. You have very talented women over there. Do something with them. Next one I'm going to give out is female MVP after that huge rant, and I'm going to give honorable mention to Raquel for picking up a win over Lyra. I didn't even want to give her honorable mention to Jade and Tiffy, but they were having a decent match before that, so I'm going to give them an honorable mention. And then Lainey Reed for picking up a win in the speed round down on NXT. But I'm going to give this award to Asuka because Asuka is so good, and I'm so glad that they're kind of starting to tease the hopefully final breakup of Damage Control, so that, and the Kabuki Warriors and all that, so we can finally get away from this, because Asuka's so good to just be stuck in this forever. So is Kairi, so is Io. They're all so good on their own. I don't think they need to be a tag team anymore, if you ask me personally. But anyways, Asuka finally got to show off in a one-on-one match once again, because, you know, she had all that hype coming back, and then it just like went down the drain. Then on Monday she wrestled Nikki Bella, and she picked up a huge win. The match actually was pretty entertaining. It wasn't a bad match, and Asuka picked up a win over some people consider Nikki Bella a GOAT. I think personally she's definitely someone that helped pave the way. I don't think she's the one that paved the way, but I think she definitely helped pave the way for women in WWE. So I think it definitely, you know, beating a big star like Nikki Bella is going to help Asuka out, hopefully going forward. So I had to give Asuka this award. I think she did the most out of anybody this week, and she has the most clearest direction out of any woman that picked up a win in a singles environment. So I think I had to easily give Asuka this award. Last award I'm going to give out is Team of the Week. Now for Team of the Week, I'm going to honorable mentions to Dark State and Hank and Tank, obviously. Fatal Influence and Zaruka. We didn't really have any tag team matches outside of NXT this week. Like I don't think there was any on Raw or SmackDown, not even any like thrown together tag team matches. But the winner, I think for the first time ever that I know of, is going to be a female tag team in the Cullings, Izzy Dame, and Tatum Paxley. Now they were my last pick to win this match, I'm not gonna lie. Not that I didn't want them to win, but who I thought was going to win. I thought for sure Fatal Influence was winning this, so they could get their tag team title opportunity. They ended up losing. Zaruka kind of more teased breakup, and I think it's cool what they did this time, because every single week that they were teasing this breakup, which they've been doing for a long time now, we've been seeing spears instead. Like it's always been Soulruka getting hit by a spear from Zarya or something from Zarya. Well, this week Soul Snatcher to Zarya on accident. It was a very clean, it was so freaking clean too, real quick. Like that's such a very, like you have to perfectly time it. Soulruka's doing a freaking backflip off the second rope to catch somebody in a cutter, while I think Izzy pushed Zarya into Tatum to get Tatum out of the way. It was so perfect, and the move didn't look messed up at all. She hit it perfectly, and it was just such a cool move. And we're gonna continue to tease Zaruka breaking up, even though it seems like they just forget what happened the next day. Like they don't even bring up the fact that they were fighting in the first place, or that they hit each other or anything. They never bring that up, which is kind of weird, but that's not the point. So they got eliminated. And then I thought for sure Fatal Influence was picking up the win here, and then they lost to the Culling. So I think Izzy and Tatum are definitely very good, and I'm excited to honestly see, like that's a crazy matchup right here. Charlotte and Alexa versus Izzy and Tatum sometime down the line. I'm assuming it's going to be next week at Homecoming, since of course Alexa and Charlotte made their name in NXT. I could very well see this being at Homecoming. It might have been announced already, I don't remember personally. But I'm excited for this match nonetheless, and for the first time ever that I know of, a women's team is winning Team of the Week. That's all I got for you. I think I rambled a little longer. I thought this was going to be a very short episode of Weekly Awards, but I think I rambled a little too much, and this is going to be a little bit longer. So I do apologize for that. Like I said, if you want to be involved with what I'm doing on TikTok, go head over to TikTok. The link is in the description. It'll take you right to my TikTok page. If you want to order some Dubby is of course the people that sponsor me. Their link is also in the description. Click on it. Use discount code Zack Axe to checkout. Save yourself 10%. I'd appreciate it. Thank you, Dubby. Like the video, comment if you think I gave any award to the wrong person, ring the bell if you know if I never drop a video like this one, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.
It's happening. I have real tough love, I'm bad at this, and I'm bad for this.
Narcissistic tendencies, I don't care about no one else. Narcissistic tendencies, I'm low, so set me on the shelf. Few people ever have my back, yeah, there ain't no doubt about that.